Welcome to the first edition of Wind Funnel for the 2006-2007 HO Champ Car World Series, and I am honored to have on the very first show of the season the rock star of the HOCC, Tony Perkins. T-Perk, thanks so much for being here on the funnel to start the season off.
Thank you very much. Do I talk in this, or it's a microphone over here? Okay, sorry about that.
Come on now.
All right, first time I've been on the show. This is great.
It's great to have you all the way here from Indianapolis, Indiana. I mean, you know about speed. You've been around the people who know speed. What's going to happen for you this season?
Well, this season, again, it's a part-time deal. We don't know whether or not we'll be at more than 6 races or not. But the main thing is just to have some fun, mix it up with the other drivers, with the crews and everything like that. And, I was told that this wasn't going to happen.
I agree. I'm very sorry about that. I can't believe that happened. I don't understand what happened to our security here. Usually the wind funnel has high security around it. I apologize. We'll make sure
I'm about just to look now.
Please stay on the show. I mean, now, one of the questions is you always run a part-time season. It can't be a sponsorship issue. I would imagine you have access to a lot of money when it comes to sponsors.
Yeah, it's an issue of road construction. Let me put it that way. It's an issue of road construction. Thanks to our friends at the Illinois Department of Transportation around the Chicago area, it is just so hard to get to these races.
Somebody known as Dan Ryan, I believe, is behind all this, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And therefore, we're going to get to about a half dozen races, but we're going to have a great time in each one of them.
Absolutely. Now, you are one of the very long-time veterans of this series. You've been here from the beginning. What has that experience brought to you? What have you learned about your driving, and what's going to put you at the top of that podium one of these days?
Well, as you can probably tell from my results in the past few years, I've learned absolutely nothing from the whole series has changed quite a bit. Where I think maybe we've matured, believe it or not.
Matured? Wow! I've never heard that word in connection with this series before. But.
And we're drinking a lot more water these days than the other beverages. But on the other, what was your question again?
Yeah. So the other question is, we're going to go to Chicago, your kind of adopted home track. Tell us about the big-time Chicago race. So this is special out of all the racing that we do here.
That's right. Chicago, the whole week leading up to the weekend race is filled with all sorts of festivities, all sorts of parties, VIP. That's the way we roll in Chicago. And once the race rolls around, it's sort of anticlimactic, but we still put on a great show.
Absolutely.
All the drivers and everything is one of the best, most competitive races on the season, and we can't wait to see everybody back again.
Well, Tony Perkins, we are privileged to have you here on the funnel. I apologize for the intrusion there, but obviously you have tons of fans. You're used to this. Keeping folks at an arm's length is sometimes difficult.
I've got to get my entourage to work a little bit harder on that situation.
No doubt about it. Thanks again for being here on the funnel.
It's early September. We're here in Greendale, Wisconsin. HOCC TV is back on here. That can only mean one thing. The HO Champ Car World Series is back on track. And Tony, Rick Benjamin, this is a hell of a season coming up.
That's right. It's going to be a hot time even to start this race. We're going to start out on the bull ring, the most competitive race of the season right off the bat. And it's going to be scary, especially after you've seen how our full-scale compadres have conducted themselves during the season.
No kidding. There's been fights on the track in the real series. This series should be no different. There's a lot of drivers here, probably the most ever. 14 cars entered in this race tonight. That's got to be one of the largest fields we ever had.
That's right. And all of these drivers, or most of these drivers, don't know just what their cars are going to do. Of course, we had that media night testing earlier a couple weeks ago, but not on this track. This track is going to be completely different, and it's going to be very, very fast.
Right, it's a brand new track. Another thing this year, 16 races, 16 tracks, 1 race per track. We've got guys, Tony Perkins is here from Indianapolis. Dean Strom is a rookie running this year. All kinds of things, and don't forget Mike Kristof. I heard he's had a bad season last year. He saw Paul Tracy. He wants to emulate him. Watch out for Kristof.
And Larry Rotter maybe trying to get his 4th championship this year. And we already know he is the best of all time now in HOCC.
Right. Everybody's shooting for Larry Rotter. But you know what? They're all even tonight. Everybody starts out at 0. Next is the Trokan Cup 500.
starting field for the Trokan Cup 500. And a familiar front row it is with Dan Margetta on the pole alongside Larry Rotter, the two guys who were on the front row last year.
Back here in row 2 is your defending race champion. It's John Shea in the yellow number 10 car. Alongside him, the hometown guy, Tom Spirit, here from Greendale.
Row number 3 representing Sebastian Bourdais in the McDonald's car. That's Chris Spirit alongside Tony Perkins all the way from Indianapolis.
Back here we have last year's Rookie of the Year. That's Mike Fitzloff, and alongside of him is Mark Walczak, very fast in qualifying.
Jim Iverson on the inside of the next row. Alongside is Ev Kamikawa, the winner of last year's Indy 500.
Back here it's the beer-drinking diva who's serious about racing this year. That's Amy Butler, the black number 14, and alongside of her, it's Andy Spears in the blue and white number 11.
Paul Tracy being represented by Mike Kristof in the number 3 Index car, and rounding out the field is Dean Strom in the Walmart 27. That's your starting field for the Trokan Cup 500.
Heat race number 1 ready to roll off. Rookie Dean Strom in this corner right here. He's running in the red lane. That's your rookie underway. Tom Spirit also in this race, the hometown favorite here at the mini mile. Then you've got last year's winner in this heat race, and that's John Shea. And Amy Butler also starting off her season here in the first heat race. We've got a 17-lap lead now for John Shea as we go into this final minute of the first heat race. The brand new mini mile, being very kind to the defending winner who won on the last iteration of this track. Of course, it was a little bit smaller back then. The corner's a little tighter. Of course, we had power issues last year, Rick Benjamin, but it looks like John has adapted to the changes nicely.
That's right. You're looking at that yellow number 10 car going around in the yellow lane, and John Shea looks like he's headed for the Final Four.
And it also looks like the hometown favorite is going to be going home, and the fans hopefully are not going to head for the exits after the disappointing result for Tom Spirit.
No, there's a lot of racing to go. We can't wait to see Larry Rotter out there. We can't wait to see Dan Margetta out there, and John Shea, of course, later on.
Well, and we can't forget the huge cheering section for Tony Perkins, who is filled up from Indianapolis. That is the end of the first heat race, and John Shea wins it. Second heat race ready to roll, and pole sitter Dan Margetta is in this heat race, along with Mike Fitzloff. And then you have, that's last year's rookie sensation, and then of course the rock star of the series, Tony, who in this darkness made a wise call and decided to put the shades away while driving. You know, night driving with the sunglasses probably not advised. And Andy Spirit, the fourth member of this, and a teammate, of course, to Mike Fitzloff. So you got the teammates going against each other here, the rookies for the R.J. Foyt racing team. And that's an interesting development. Kitty Bo Peep, we have a new team here headed by R.J. Foyt. What are the odds Rookie of the Year, Mike Fitzloff, is going to find any success with this brand new team?
Oh, I have no idea, and, you know, their uniforms, I always focus on these things, but here we are, the first race in the season, and look at these uniforms, they're pathetic.
Not a lot of, although, you know, Mike's looking very casual in the Florida wear there.
Oh, yes, the poor man had hernia surgery. I heard he was lifting an elephant. He helped Lucy after she had passed away, Lucy the elephant, and he helped get her to her grave. God bless Lucy. Hi, Kitty Bo Peep here, and we're going to be interviewing this interesting-looking gentleman. I don't know who he is, but look at that attire. My God, how can you not want to talk to this man? Excuse me, sir.
What can I do for you, little lady?
Who are you?
My name is Mr. R.J. Foyt. Can you recognize me?
No, I was more interested in the clothing here. Very interesting, Mr. Floyd.
It's coming back in style down in Texas. It'd take a while to get up there, and you Yankees up here. Just take a little while. Just wait.
Well, thank God for that. Sir, what are you doing at this race?
I'm here to watch my two drivers who are in this heat race, Mr. Mike Fitzloff and Mr. Andy Spirit. And I'm hoping that they're going to do well, because I got a lot of money in them boys, and they better start performing for me.
Oh, and what do you suppose is going to happen if they don't do well?
Well, I don't know. You asked me that question in a couple of races. They start doing poorly, then we might have to do some changes around there. They might need to work just a little bit harder.
Ooh, it sounds like a threat if I ever heard one. Oh, my God, maybe they'll be threatened to wear outfits like this. Oh, my gosh, where is this racing league going to? Well, Mr. Floyd, Pink, RJ?
RJ.
Sorry.
RJ.
I get a pile right there in front of the start-finish line. So Andy Speart is on a roll here and seems to be catching up to our leader, Dan Margetta. Kitty Bo Peep, what do you think? Is Dan going to be able to hold him off?
I don't know. I was just wondering the same thing. Is Dan Margetta going to be able to keep it together? It will be interesting to watch. And this Andy Speart, where's he coming from? No name Andy. Boy, it's good to see him come alive.
About 30 seconds left. Dan Margetta holding off Andy Speart by about 3 laps over Andy Speart. He is pulling up on Dan. He's approaching Dan right there on the 2 inside lanes. Dan just slightly ahead of Andy Speart, but Andy's going to have to pass him numerous times, and there's only about 10 seconds left in this race. So it looks like Dan Margetta is praying for the time to run out, and it does. He holds him off, but a great race run by Andy Speart to finish second. He'll have a solid run here tonight overall.
The third heat race is set. It's Larry Rotter, Jim Iverson, and Mike Kristof. 3 cars in this race. 1 will go on. All eyes are on Jim Iverson and Larry Rotter. That's a matchup everybody's trying to watch. Mike Kristof looking to sneak his way into the final. Here we go. Heat race number 3. We're going to pan out here for the start. And the green is up. There they go. And it's Kristof early, but looks like Iverson on the inside. Iverson, Kristof, and Rotter. 1, 2, 3 right now early on in heat race number 3. Oh, big crash down there. That looks like that was Mike Kristof and Larry Rotter in that blue lane. It's very loose right here in this corner. Out of turn number 2, the blue lane has been loose all night. Can Rotter master it? Tonight in Greendale, Wisconsin, there is a full moon over the racetrack. Full moon, did you mean strange occurrences have happened, and that's the perfect setting for tonight's Kitty's Gossip Corner. Here's Kitty Bo Peep.
Hi, Kitty Bo Peep here, and tonight's focus is going to be on the crazy antics of Dean Strom. Now, I have spoken to some people who wish to remain anonymous that they have witnessed Dean running through the woods, howling at the moon. Yes, he is looking for his natural pack to run with. It's also been reported that he tends to grow longer hair and faster during a full moon. He's been seen shaving constantly during a full moon. Strangest thing.
Jim Iverson in the red car on the inside lane there. He went by there. Has a big 10-lap lead over Larry Rotter, who's on the same lap as Mike Kristof. You know, Mike Kristof really looking to turn this season around. He had a poor showing a year ago. We heard a crash. There it was. That's Mike Kristof crashing right there. Big-time problems here in the corner at the Milwaukee Mile. And Kitty Bo Peep, what have you heard about Mike Kristof?
Well, you know, I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to the team of Mike Kristof and Dan Margetta. You know, the two are like polar opposites. They're like bookends. Yin and yang, peanut butter and jelly, left and right. It'll be interesting to see if Mike continues to stay at the back and Dan Margetta stays at the front. I'd like to see a little bit of opposites there.
Wow. Nice analysis there from Kitty Bo Peep. She really knows what's going on out there. You know, you think she's just a TV person, but she's a racer and a race fan and really knows what's going on. Larry Rotter's on fire. He has got a long, long way to go to catch Jim Iverson, but this black car right there in the yellow lane is tearing up the circuit right now. And there's a crash by Iverson that's going to give Rotter a few more laps. Don't count him out yet. Iverson leads, but Mike Kristof and Kitty, he had a good lane draw here, but he's not making the most of it.
I know, it's just pathetic. The man should not be given any decent lanes if he's not going to make the most of it.
Lots of drama here in the opening round of the HOCC World Series. It's here at the Mini Milwaukee Mile in the Trokan Cup 500. And can it get any better than this? 30 seconds to go. Rotter is still closing. He may run out of time. Do you think he can do it, Kitty?
I have all the faith in the world in that Larry Rotter. He is a true Sisyphus.
For those of you, that's the dude that pushed the rock up the hill and it kept falling down on him. I learned that just during the commercial break. But right now, that could have hurt Larry Rotter right there. He tangled up with Mike Kristof, and that might seal the deal for Jim Iverson. It could happen. That's the end of the race. 2 laps is what it came down to, but Jim Iverson won. He'll go to the final. That guy, your defending champion, digs himself a hole early here in the 2006-2007 season.
It is heat race number 4 underway, and this one features Ev Kamikawa, the last winner of the last race. That was the HO Indy 500. Another big oval there. And then you've got Chris Speart, and then Mark Walzak. Mark Walzak. He's buttoned down with the iPod in the ears, and so far this thing has just been a mess. What is happening here? We've got very little car control so far in this thing.
That was Air Kamakawa you saw heading down the backstretch right there. He was cleared for landing, I think. No, Air Kamakawa. He got some air on that when he ramped over the other car in the outside lane. I think that was Mark Walzak.
That won't do anything for his paint job, that's for sure. I know Mark's very proud of the way the cars look this season. And they've got still got the red and white, though. Although the number of red and white cars, thankfully, is much. No, that was. Somebody just did a cartwheel down the backstretch. I think that was Ev Kamakawa. He's definitely going to score high marks for form on those.
Yeah, let's ask the East German judge. What did you think of that landing there by Kamakawa?
Oh, I can't do
What would you give it? We'll ask the American judge.
I would give him a 10 for that one, definitely. Yes, a 10.
A 10. A 10 on the landing for Kamakawa.
He definitely stuck the landing on that one. Do we think that Chris Spears is going to be able to hold on to this lead?
You know, I think maybe this marriage thing has had a positive effect on Chris. He's really whooping some butt here.
I'm glad you brought that up, Kitty. I don't think we've even mentioned the fact that Chris Spears wasn't able to make media night because he was off getting married. A huge development in his life, of course.
Well, no better reason to miss media night than getting married.
Well, Dan, it looks like we've got quite a tight race now because Ev Kamakawa has caught up to Chris Spears.
And he's about to pass him. They're side by side. Kamakawa on the inside, Chris Spears hanging tough out low. Spears spins this late in the game. That's got to hurt to lose the lead to Ev Kamakawa. The Asian Lion is back, and he's leading this final heat race.
And the wheels are almost literally coming off on Mark. I think he should find a new mix on that iPod.
Can you hear it? 3 mile mark bubbling over here in the heat race.
Bye-bye.
Oh, the meltdown has happened. And time is running out. Ev Kamakawa wins the 4th heat race and earns the ticket to the final of the Trokan Cup 500.
So Dan, you got a very fast car, but an unpredictable track.
Yeah, very. We don't really have that fast of a car. It's just kind of hit the marks in qualifying. Other guys have problems. I'm in the inside lane to start where I need to be. I can't run the outside. If I get out there, it might be a repeat of last year. I won't lose 111 laps this year. Maybe 10, but not 111.
Okay, the teammates with YJobs.com. First of all, Ev Kamakawa, great comeback here in the heat race, and you find yourself in the Final Four here.
Yeah, I'm going to do my best Kimi Räikkönen impression. Yes, the WisconsinJobs.com car was fantastic, and I think that we've got a very good chance in the final.
Okay, stop. All right. John Shea. John Shea, you won the race here last year, but under bizarre kind of circumstances. How do you think you're going to do about this race?
You're going to do great. That's it. We're just going to do great.
All right. Watch out back there. There's no telling what's going to happen. Maybe you're the dark horse in this race, huh?
I am the dark horse in this race. I'm not as fast as these guys. I'm starting on the far outside lane. I'll try to survive the first half and run them down in the second half. We'll see what we can do.
We have met the 4 drivers that are strapped into these cars, and we are ready to go for 500 laps of the Trokan Cup to open up the HO Champ Car season. Pole sitter on the inside there to your right. Yellow car, yellow lane. And that is John Shea, then Ev Kamakawa, and then you've got Jim Iverson on the outside. The first lap is going to be led by Dan Margetta, and then all 3 right behind him closely. Oh, now Shea comes up to challenge. Shea puts a nose ahead. They're still side by side. Look at this thing. They are pulling away now. Shea is out by about 3-car lead. We got 500 laps to lead, and it sounds like it's almost over. No, but it isn't. Okay, but there's still a long way to go, so they have to pace themselves. Take it easy now. Okay, it's exciting, but they're still side by side. There's still a long way to go. So look out. He's coming up to pass him again. Okay, settle down. All right, they got a long way to go. They got to pace themselves. They can't get too excited now. They can't get too excited, boys. You can't get too excited.
Mr. Wyatt, why don't you have a cup of decaf?
Margetta is up over John Shea, who has switched now to the inside green lane. So Dan has moved to the outside red lane. This is going to be real trouble for him. And looks like Dan Margetta has gone into the pits. We go down to pit reporter Dean Strom.
And the crew goes to the right side of the car. They change tires. They work around to the left, and they fill it up with fuel. A great stop for the Forsyth team.
Second place, John Shea, is expected in at any time, and he's in.
The WIJobs.com car is into the pits. Same deal. Right side tires, now left side tires. They fill it up with fuel, and he's good to go. The PKVHO team is in the pits. And, the problems on the right front. The car gets up. The car fell off the jacks. Oh, problems. Oh, and back underway, but not without problems on that PKV HO car.
Amazing they managed to do all that and still do it in 10 seconds. That is the mark of true professionals. Oh, a stop-and-go penalty for John Shea now. It gives Dan Margetta the opportunity to take the lead again. Margetta's going to have to hold on to this. About a lap and a half lead. Very expensive crash there for John Shea off the track. He's going to have to wait about 90 laps for the finish of this one. We got a long way to go yet. It's about a half a lap now behind. There you see Shea on the inside, gaining on Margetta. Now he's side by side with him. He's about ready to take. No, he pulls out, takes the lead. Shea is back out in front. There goes Economacki into a 10-second stopping or 5-second stop and go for going off the track. Of course, the rule is if the car goes off the track, not touching any part of that black track surface, then you serve the 5-second stop and go in the pit lane. Just 15 laps left to go. John Shea going to become a second winner, repeat winner here at the Trokan Cup at the Mini Mile. The traditional trophy has been brought back for the opening round of the HO Champ Car World Series, and we will be handing it to the winner, and that is going to be John Shea. There he goes under the start-finish line, and John Shea wins again at the Mini Mile, the master of the Mini Mile.
It looks like the Team Wisconsin MyJobs.com is celebrating on the deck. Tom Spirit, the track owner, is outraged. But look at this, and look at the sparklers in the background. Fireworks here at the Mini Milwaukee Mile, and Tom Spirit is ready to present the winning trophy #1. Second time in a row, back-to-back at the Mini Mile, John Shea.
Well, John, seems like we were here last year at the same time.
Same place. We actually were.
Yeah, well, congratulations. And I'd like to present you with the winning trophy for the this year's race.
All right.
Good luck. Good race, I should say. And
Woo! It's been a long time coming.
Well, John,
Tell you what, going way, way back, early on in this league, been trying to win this trophy when I was at the Shrine Track. Had it in the bank, okay? Went off in that stupid dead tree turn, lost the race. Less than a minute to go. So, right here.
And then you never
right
went back
here.
to that track.
10 years of frustration. He raced here at the Mini Mile. He's got the Trokan Cup. John Shea.
This is great. We got a WIJobs.com 1-2 tonight. How about that?
Well, 1-3.
Okay, you don't have to count when you're #1.
Excellent job, John.